What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. Today I want to go over every single set coming out for LEGO Star Wars in the summer of 2025. Now I already went over all of these sets coming out in May as well as the May 4th promos in a previous video, so if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link to that video down below in the description. But without further ado, let's get right on into this video. Now, there are two main waves, the first coming June 1st and the second coming August 1st, and we're going to start with June 1st as it is the sooner of the two, and there's also not a lot of sets. Now the first set coming out on June 1st is set 75400, the Plo Koon's Microfighter with 89 pieces, releasing for $14.99. This is going to have an updated version of Plo Koon as well as the head of his astromech droid. Now sadly this is not a full-scale version of Plo Koon's Starfighter like we originally thought it may be, but I still think getting Plo Koon in a cheap microfighter is very good. Now it is kind of odd to see the price here at $15 versus the previous microfighters being, for the longest time being, I think, what, $10, and then, they got increased to $13, and then with the Grogu and the Mandalorian Starfighter was $16, I believe, $15.99, but this one's $14.99, so I don't know if this is a new set price for microfighters, or they just upped it up because it's going to have the head of his astromech droid. That would make the most sense for me. Personally, I would have rather just, spent the extra $16 and get the rest of the astromech droid so you can complete it. But overall, I think this should be pretty cool. I think he has a really cool design for his Starfighter, and I think that the updated version of Plo Koon will be very good. Next up, one that I'm kind of excited for, being set 75411, the Darth Maul mech, coming in at 143 pieces for $14.99. This is going to be the Clone Wars version of Darth Maul. Likely it's going to be very similar or the same as the one that we got for Season 7 of the Clone Wars. However, I would love to see a new version. I just don't know if LEGO is going to make a whole new Darth Maul just put in this mech. It would be cool though if you had, the mech legs, the mechanical Maul legs. That would be really cool. I doubt LEGO is going to go through all the trouble of molding those and putting them in, but mechanical Maul legs and a Maul mech would make sense. It'd be pretty cool. I think that's a great minifigure that I'd love to see an updated version of. However, I doubt that LEGO would do that. I think it's just going to be the same old Season 7 version of Maul that we already got, and as for the build, it's just going to be the same. I think it's going to be very similar to the Darth Vader mech and all the other mechs that we've got. I think this one should be pretty cool, and it's nice to get a cheap version of Darth Maul. Next up is at 75412, the Death Trooper and Night Trooper Battle Pack, coming in at 119 pieces for $19.99. This is going to have 2 Night Troopers as well as 2 Zombie Death Troopers based on the Ahsoka show. Now personally, I think this is a very cool idea. Personally, I'd rather just get a battle pack of the regular Death Troopers and Stormtroopers, but this is also pretty cool. I'm excited to see what LEGO does for the design of the Death Troopers, as well as if it is going to be the same version of the Night Troopers that we've already got. I think this is shaping up to be pretty cool. It's just not one that I'm inherently incredibly interested in, given that I wasn't a huge fan of the Ahsoka show, but I do think that this has a lot of potential, and the build is rumored to be an Imperial patrol ship, so I think that will be really cool. I think the build's going to be cool, and I think the minifigures have very high potential, so I'm excited to see what they end up doing for this one. Those are all of these sets coming out on June 1st, and now we can move over to August 1st, which is the larger of the wave and has some banger sets, I will say. I'm sure you've heard some of the leaks and rumors, but there's some crazy sets, so let's move on. The first set that we have is going to be set 76434, the buildable K2SO, coming in at $99.99. This is going to come alongside a display plaque as well as a K2SO minifigure. I think this is going to be very, very cool. It's going to be in scale with all of the other droids that we've gotten, the buildable ones like C-3PO and R2 and the chopper that we're getting earlier in the year, and I'm actually excited to see this one. K2SO with those Imperial droids have a really cool design, and I am very curious to see how they go about building this, as well as I'm believing it's just going to be the exact same K2SO minifigure that we're going to be getting in the U-Wing, but this is a cool one. I think he's a cool droid, and I'm excited to see this one. 5435, the Playscale MTT, based on the Clone Wars, coming in at 976 pieces for $149.99. Now the minifigures included in this set are going to be Aayla Secura, Commander Bly, as well as 10 droids. Firstly, for the minifigures, I think Aayla Secura is going to be very good. I think that she's been done very well the past 2 times that we got her, and this time I think will be no different. I think it's going to be an updated and very good version of her. As for Bly, I think Bly is also going to look pretty good. At least I have hope. I know a lot of people hate on the current version of clones that we're getting regarding, the helmet holes and the printing, but I have faith that LEGO is going to be able to do this one justice. I guess we'll have to see. He has some very cool detailing on his helmet that I'm hoping that LEGO goes for, and he also is is going to have those macro binoculars, so I'm excited to see what they do for this one. Unfortunately, it's not looking likely that we're going to be getting cloth waist capes back for these guys, which is very unfortunate, but still cool to be getting Bly at least in one way or another. And then as for the rest of our minifigures, they are going to be droids. We're going to be getting 10 droids, and I do think that we are going to have some variety here. It's rumored that 2 of them are going to be different than the other 8, and if I had to guess, it's going to be, you know, the pilot droids, maybe the new version that we got in the Trade Federation Troop Carrier, because we haven't seen them since, and I think this would be the perfect time to get them in another set. But personally, I would love to get some sort of commander droid with the yellow markings. It's been so long since we got the previous one, and this being a Clone Wars set, it would make perfect sense. And now, obviously, I think a lot of people would have liked to have gotten some different, you know, Separatist minifigures in this set, being one of the first Separatist sets that we've got in a long time. You know, in a when we do get Clone Wars sets, it's primarily dominated by the clone side of things, so it would have been nice, you know, maybe we've gotten a Watambor, maybe a tactical droid, some different cool things like that would have been great, but it's not looking likely that we're going to be getting them. Now, I do think this is going to be a very solid set, and I'm excited to see it. I know a few people are concerned about the piece count and the price, but looking toward the previous one that we got in 2014 with more, a little bit kind of similar in pieces as well as a similar increase in price, I think this one will be a little bit bigger or the same size though, given that LEGO, I believe, is going to be using bigger pieces for this one, but I'm very excited to see this one, and it's one of my most anticipated of the August wave. Next, to go alongside the MTT, we have the UTAT in set 75413 with 813 pieces with $149.99 being the retail. This is going to be based on Revenge of the Sith, and it is rumored to have 2 Galactic Marines as well as 4 other minifigures. My guess is going to be Ki-Adi-Mundi, Commander Bakara, as well as just 2 droids thrown on the side. Now, there also was a little rumor going around that this is going to have some sort of side build, so if I were to guess on what the side build could be, maybe some sort of spider droid or just, I don't know, some cover for the clones or droids to go against. Now, the rumor of a side build is a little concerning given the very low piece count here with 813. That's already very low for just the UTAT, and, you know, taking pieces away to focus on a side build, I'm not necessarily for it. I think this is a very low piece count, so I'm hoping that this build is done justice. The UTAT is such a cool vehicle, and I hope that it's done justice. I'm hoping that there's just some really big pieces used here, and it's not a ton of small pieces, and that's why the piece count is so low. But I think LEGO can definitely knock this one out of the park. Everyone has been wanting a UTAT for so long, as well as the Galactic Marines, so I'm very excited to see this one, and I cannot wait to finally get images of this set. Now, another odd one that we have is set 75428, the buildable B1 battle droid, coming in at $99.99. I'm surprisingly excited for this one. I think that it is going to be pretty cool. Now, it's also going to have a display plaque and, you know, the little battle droid minifigure to go alongside it. This is an odd one that I definitely wouldn't have guessed, but I think that the B1 has a very cool design, and I'm excited to see how LEGO goes about building this one. Next up is set 75431, the 327th Star Corps Battle Pack, coming in at 258 pieces for $39.99. This is going to have 4 of the 327th troopers, as well as 3 super battle droids and a dwarf spider droid as the build, and the other part of the build is going to be an AT-RT. Personally, at $40, I think this is very overpriced. You know, a $20 battle pack would have had just, you know, the AT-RT and the 4 clone troopers, and we're paying an extra $20 to get 3 super battle droids as well as a little spider droid. I think that's absurd. I think this should be no more than $30. Unfortunately, LEGO's going to get away with it because people are going to buy it, but is what it is. This is one that I'm definitely not going to be buying day one. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale, and I think it is going to be pretty solid. I think the clones are going to be pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's not looking likely that they're going to have cloth waist capes. I really wish that they would, especially at this price point for $40. I think we deserve some cloth waist capes, but it's not looking likely as of right now. I think it's just going to be our classic oversized little AT-RT build, and then the same spider droid, the build that we have gotten already 100 different times, maybe not 100, but you know, the same one that we got in the ATTE. Overall, I think it's going to be a pretty cool set. I'm just a little bit sad that that price point is so high. Next up is set 75414, the Rebuild the Galaxy set, originally thought to be some sort of turbo tank, but now pretty much confirmed to be something based off of Rebuild the Galaxy. It is going to be a 7+ set with 349 pieces and going to be releasing for $49.99. It's going to come with 3 minifigures, being Sig, Dev, and Duros. I really hope that the Duros is going to be some sort of Jedi Cad Bane. That would be really cool, as it is the same species. A little sad that it's not a turbo tank, but it does mean that there is still hope to get a new turbo tank in the future, and I'm excited to see what this set ends up being. Next up, we've set 75417, the 18 plus ATST Walker, coming in at 1,513 pieces for $200 or $199.99. It is rumored to have a minifigure. Now, my guess is going to be an ATST driver as well as a display plaque. So, it can display like all of the other 18 plus or UCS sets. And I'm very excited to see this one. I think the ATST, it's been so long since the previous one. And I think that's a set that still holds up okay today, minus all of the exposed studs. And I think this one's going to look great, especially if you have the UCS AT. I think it's going to look great next to it. Now, I'm very excited to see this one. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I am happy to be getting some of these like higher price point 18 plus sets and them not being the UCS sets, because I feel like when LEGO makes a UCS set, they try and, tax that UCS price tag on it. And if they are doing some more 18 plus kind of style sets in that higher price range, then it leaves a lot more opportunity for some different sets that otherwise wouldn't be possible. Now, I'm very excited to see this one, and I think that the price per piece ratio is pretty good, and I'm excited to see what they end up picking for the minifigure. But if I had to guess, it's going to be the ATST driver. Next up, we have a very exciting one being set 75432, the V19 Torrent, coming in at 567 pieces for $59.99, and 3 minifigures, being a Clone Pilot, Clone Wars Obi-Wan, and Ventress. Now, one of these minifigures is rumored to have arm printing. My guess is going to be Obi-Wan. I think it's going to be the same as that Mace Windu from the Republic fighter tank with the cool little logo and all of the different printing on it. And I can't wait to see these figs. It's been so long since we've got a Clone Wars armor Obi-Wan as well as a Ventress. She's such a cool and underrated character, and I'm very excited to see her come back to LEGO. And I think that the Clone Pilot is, contrary to the previous ones that we've got, it's actually going to be pretty accurate. It's not going to have the fin on the helmets, and hopefully the printing is done correctly. I think it will be. I have high hopes for this set. Hopefully LEGO doesn't mess it up, and it's going to have the little breathing apparatus as well on the torso, on the chest. So I'm excited to see this one. I think as for the build, it's going to be hard for it to hold up to its predecessor because it had such a cool play feature, and I don't think LEGO is going to do the same play feature, but I do think there is going to be some sort of folding of the wings, which I'm excited to see. I think this is going to be a very cool set and one of the best of the wave, and I'm very excited to see all of these minifigures. Next up, we've set 75430, an 18 plus buildable Ewok, coming in at $89.99. Personally, I have to say this is a very odd set idea. I think it's a cool one, and hopefully it isn't a repeat of the Chewbacca. I think this has some, I think it could be really cool. Personally, not one that I'm insanely interested in, but I do think that, going toward the different buildable figures is a cool direction for LEGO to go. I think they're kind of going all in this year and maybe next year, and I mean, depending on how they sell, I'm assuming they'll continue to make them. I'm sure that there's not a lot of people out there that are big fans of the buildable figures, but I do think that they definitely have their place, and some of them are pretty cool. This is also going to have a little display plaque as well as the Ewok minifigure to go alongside it. I'm excited to see how LEGO goes about building this one, and hopefully it isn't as bad as that Chewbacca was. Lastly, we have a set that came out of left field for most, being set 75433, the Jango Fett's Slave 1 in a playscale version, coming in at 707 pieces for $69.99. There's going to be 3 minifigures in this set, being Jango Fett, Boba Fett, as well as a Kanamaoan. This is going to be very similar to the 2021 Boba Fett Starship, and I'm very happy that there's going to be a cheaper option for us to get Jango Fett's Slave 1, and not just having to fork over $300 for the UCS version. It also makes the Jango Fett minifigure a lot more accessible to the fans who have been waiting so long since the last Slave 1 that came out in 2003, so I can't wait to get this one. As for the figs, Jango Fett will, there's not confirmation that it's going to be the same as the UCS version. I know either way people are going to be unhappy. There's a lot of people that like to have the exclusive figures in the UCS sets, as well as a lot of people that don't like it, but either way, I'm still happy that we're getting this set. I think it will be very cool. Now, yes, it's probably going to be very in that downsized scale like the previous Boba Fett Starship that we got with this Jango Fett Slave 1, so I'm curious to see how that goes. I think this will be very, very good though. I think the build is going to have a lot of detail, and it's going to go great alongside the Jedi Starfighter, the Obi-Wan Jedi Starfighter that we got in the previous year. And I don't think that the Kanamaoan is going to be the same Taun We. I think we're going to get a different one, and I'm excited to see who LEGO ends up choosing. And that does it for all of the leaked sets coming out in the summer of 2025. I cannot wait. There are some great sets rumored and leaked to be coming out, and I can't wait to see them. Let me know down below in the comments which sets your favorite are and which ones you're most excited for or are going to be buying on day one when they come out. I think there is a lot of potential, but I'm very excited to see what they end up doing for a lot of these sets, because a lot is still up in the air regarding how they're going to end up looking, and there are some other leaks and rumors that I will be covering in the future. So if you want to stay up to date on all of the most recent leaks and rumors, make sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe for more LEGO content. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.